Hey techies, I'm Jessica Alvarez, an innovation research journalist with Digital Mayhem Tech Talk, giving you up-to-date news on trending technology and how they can be used to improve your life, businesses, and daily activities. My co-host Jamal and I do the research so you don't have to, but you can trust that we will give you as clear a guidance as we can in this interesting era we're embarking on.
Welcome to Digital Mayhem Tech Talk. I'm Jamal, your resident tech nerd, specialist, and AI engineer. I'm here to provide insight on the ever-changing dynamics of AI technology that seems to become a part of every day of our lives. My co-host Jessica and I discuss all things tech to help you understand the latest apps and how to use them. There's no reason to be afraid once you know how to use it. Now, let's get started.
You're listening to Digital Mayhem Tech Talk on Spotify.
Welcome to Digital Mayhem Tech Talk. I'm Jessica Alvarez, your resident expert on tech employment news. I'm here with my co-host Jamal, and we're discussing how tech and AI are changing the dynamics of employment search. Jamal, did you know that 85% of today's job searching happens entirely through digital tools? That's a complete transformation from just 10 years ago, and it's changing everything about how we find work.
Jessica, that's fascinating, and it really shows how critical it is to master these digital tools. I'm Jamal Wingate, and as a bona fide tech nerd, I co-host with Jessica to bring you tech updates and news on trending innovations. I've been watching this shift happen in real time.
Amazing, isn't it? You know what's really interesting? The way communication platforms have evolved. I was just reading that the average job seeker now uses at least 5 different digital tools just to manage their search. From dedicated email accounts to video conferencing platforms, it's become this whole ecosystem.
Speaking of video conferencing, I heard about someone who lost a job opportunity because they couldn't figure out how to share their screen during a technical interview. I find that to a crazy situation, but certainly avoidable. These skills aren't optional anymore. It's imperative that everybody do the best they can learning how to use apps and other technology. There's a lot of training available.
Oh my goodness, yes. And here's something surprising. Companies are now using AI to analyze candidates' facial expressions and voice patterns during video interviews. It's kind of wild when you think about it, not to mention a bit invasive.
Indeed. That's actually pretty concerning from a privacy perspective. How do you feel about AI being used that way in hiring?
Well, it's complicated. I personally don't want my digital face used like that. Who knows what else is being done with it? I think new privacy agreements and laws should be implemented. And while AI can help process large numbers of applications efficiently, we're seeing a lot of candidates now taking specific training just to optimize for these AI systems. But you know what's even more interesting? The rise of professional networking platforms.
Like LinkedIn's transformation from just a resume site to a complete professional ecosystem?
Exactly. And get this, studies show that 70% of jobs are now found through networking on these platforms rather than traditional applications. I've been watching people completely reinvent their approach to job hunting.
That's such a dramatic shift, Jessica. Have you seen how these platforms are being used differently across different industries?
Oh, absolutely, Jamal. In tech, for example, we're seeing people use GitHub profiles almost like resumes. And in creative fields, platforms like Behance have become just as important as traditional portfolios. But here's what really fascinates me, the rise of upskilling platforms during unemployment.
The numbers on that are pretty incredible. I saw that Coursera enrolled over 10 million new learners just during the pandemic.
Right? And with the influx of new candidates who were recently laid off or fired from federal employment, it is going to grow expeditiously. And do you know what's really powerful? The combination of learning platforms with mental health tools. Studies show that job seekers who use both have a 40% higher success rate in landing positions. It's about maintaining resilience while building skills.
That's such an important point about the mental health aspect. The digital transformation has added new stressors to job hunting.
Definitely. And speaking of stress, let's talk about financial management tools. The average job search now takes about 5 months, so having good budgeting apps has become crucial. I've seen some amazing stories of people using these tools to stretch their savings.
Well, Jessica, that connects perfectly to the rise of freelancing platforms during job searches. They've become this essential bridge, haven't they?
Oh my goodness, Jamal, yes! The statistics on this are fascinating. 60% of job seekers now do some form of freelance work while looking for full-time positions. And here's what's really interesting. About 20% of them end up turning that freelance work into their primary career.
That's such a significant shift in how people think about employment security. It's so transforming.
And you know what's particularly fascinating? The special case of federal workers. There's this whole parallel universe of digital tools and platforms specifically for government employees in transition. The numbers show that those who use these specialized resources find new positions 30% faster.
That's really interesting about the federal workers. How do you see all of this evolving in the future?
Well, we're already seeing the next wave of innovation: virtual reality job fairs, AI-powered career counseling, blockchain-verified credentials. It's like we're building this entirely new infrastructure for employment. But here's what I think is most important. Despite all this technology, the human element remains crucial.
That's such a vital point, Jessica, about balancing high-tech and high-touch approaches.
Exactly. And as we go to break, here's something to think about. Studies show that successful job seekers typically use a combination of digital tools and traditional networking. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about using technology to enhance human connections, not replace them.
That's really the perfect way to sum it up. Technology as an enabler, not a replacement for human connection.
Absolutely right. And remember, while the tools keep evolving, the fundamental goal remains the same: finding meaningful work that matches your skills and values. The technology is just helping us get there more efficiently. When we return, we'll discuss some resources that are helpful to those on the job-seeking journey. And now
You're
a
listening
word
to
from our
Digital Mayhem
sponsor.
Tech Talk on Spotify.